Billy, this is an absolute honor to talk to you. I absolutely loved this film, the cinematography, the production design, the way you start the movie with that awesome energy, and the way you have your entrance when you finally come on screen visually. It's just incredible to watch. One of my favorite elements of this movie is this idea of I choose me. And
Yeah.
Indina has this amazing line later on in the film where she tells a story about playing piano when she was younger and how that was a passion of hers. And I was wondering for you, is there a moment in your career that you remember where you were given a decision to do something and one option was one way, one was the other, but you chose yourself? And I wanted to ask, do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there have been several, but the biggest moment for me that kind of changed everything and has led to the artist you see before you is was around about 2000.
Mm.
And I had a good run in my 20s in New York on Broadway. I did like 4 or 5 Broadway shows. I had a recording contract on A&M Records, and it all came crashing down.
Mm.
And the reason it came crashing down on me, quite frankly, was due to my queerness, and the fact that I wasn't really interested in lying about it.
Mm.
Now, I had been in a space where, it was the ask, don't tell era. So
Mm.
I was sort of doing that, but it was essentially something really bad happened with my record deal. It was a violation that could not go unnoticed, and not go taken care of, and I walked away from it.
Mm.
I walked away from the music industry. I walked away from the theater industry, and I took a step and a leap out on faith and chose myself because I did not like the trajectory of where I saw my life and career going with the path that I was on. And I chose that. And it was over 20 years ago at this point. And what you're seeing happen to me right now is in direct relation to that choice that I made at that time, because everybody told me that my queerness would be my liability. And my queerness was my liability for decades until it wasn't. And so, yeah.
It was the right decision. I'm getting teary eyed just hearing that story. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. That was really incredible to hear that. And that's a really powerful story, to be honest with you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Your entrance in this film, first of all, the way your narration is amazing because it gives us the energy the movie's going to be in. And then when we dive into the world, you're immersed in it. But I want to talk about your entrance into the film physically when you come down. It's so cool. And talk about what that meant to you and kind of that moment shooting it and just kind of the idea of what that was for the character.
Well, first of all, when Kay Cannon called and asked me to play this part, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I just wanted to be the male Whitney Houston. Like, Whitney Houston was my favorite. I wanted to be the male Whitney Houston. So, to get the call to play the fairy godmother in this way, I'm playing the Whitney Houston part. Come on. I'm a black man. Brandy, Whitney Houston, that's our Cinderella.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm playing the Whitney Houston part. So the idea that we're taking this classic fairy tale and, classic, recently we've begun to ask the question, classic for whom? Classic also comes with, many of our classics are problematic, problematic in stereotyping, problematic in lack of diversity, problematic in the treatment of women, and this version addresses every one of those problematic issues inside of our classics, right? And so to be chosen in the slot of the fairy godmother, mother, as I call it in this one, is transformative, it's life altering, and it will transform the next generation. It cracks open a different conversation with everybody in a global way that is necessary, particularly right now. You know, magic has no gender.
Mm.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about the spreading of love. The fairy god person spreads love. She teaches Cinderella how to love herself first.
Yeah. Well,
It's
Billy,
awful.
yeah, I agree with you. They're giving me the wrap. I want to say thank you. It is always an honor to talk with you. You are one of the most passionate, most incredible people I've had the chance to interview over these years, and I really mean that. And I want to say thank you and keep doing what you're doing because you're awesome. And thank you for sharing your story. And you are phenomenal in this role. So congratulations to you, and I hope you're staying safe, sir.
Thank you. You too.
Nice to see
Thank
you,
you
Billy.
very much.